Hi, this is Elian, your weight loss mindset coach. Today I'm starting a special series about emotional regulation and resilience. Why? Because so many of us don't just eat because we're hungry. We eat because of emotions we don't know how to handle. Today's focus: understanding your feelings. Did you know that more than 80% of people suppress their emotions? We've been taught to be strong, not to cry, or don't make a fuss. And if you do, you are labeled, yes, a Karen. But when we bury our emotions, they don't disappear. They come out in other ways, like emotional eating, stress, or self sabotage. When you understand your emotions, you stop fighting them and start healing. Whether you're riding a wave of joy or facing a moment of frustration, one thing is certain: understanding your emotion is absolutely key to living a fulfilling and balanced life. Now, emotions, also called feelings, are not just random mood swings. No, they're actually very complex psychological and physiological states that arise in response to what's happening around us and within us. They shape our thoughts, guide your behavior, and play an essential role in survival, decision making, and connecting with others. Now, let's talk about why emotions matter so much. They actually serve several essential functions. One, communication. Emotions allow us to express what we're experiencing inside. When we show happiness, sadness, anger, or fear, we help others understand us, and that builds connection. Survival. Think about fear and anger. These emotions have evolutionary roots. Fear triggers the fight or flight response, preparing us to either face a threat or escape it. Anger can mobilize us to protect ourselves and set boundaries. 3. Decision making. Emotions guides us in making choices. They signal our likes and dislikes, helping us align our actions with our deepest values and desires. But here's the challenge: what happens when this essential function malfunction? The truth is, the vast majority of people do not fully allow themselves to experience their emotions. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Research in Personality found that 60 to 80% of people admit to suppressing their emotions at some point. That's a huge number, and it begs the question, but why do we do this? Well, there are a few common reasons. Societal expectations. From a young age, many of us are told to stay strong, don't cry, or I'll give you something to cry about, or keep a stiff upper lip. Society often discourages emotional expression, especially emotions seen as negative, like sadness or fear. The fear of judgment. We worry about being misunderstood, criticized, or seen as weak. Just think social media. So instead of expressing our feelings, we bury them. Avoiding conflict. Sometimes we suppress emotions just to keep the peace in relationships, whether at home, at work, or in general. But the problem is, those unspoken feelings don't go away. They linger. And here's where it gets even more interesting and a little concerning. Over time, suppressing emotions leads to a cumulative lack of emotional awareness. Some people actually lose the ability to fully recognize, experience, or even label what they are feeling. Think of it like a second language. If you stop practicing it, it doesn't come naturally anymore. Even worse, the brain sometimes mislabel emotions as a form of self-protection. For example, sadness or fear might come out as anger in someone who learned that it wasn't safe to show vulnerability. On the other hand, someone taught never to be angry might express that emotion as nervousness, anxiety, or self-doubt. And perhaps most importantly, when we suppress emotion to feel safe or accepted, the results can be the exact opposite of what we wanted. Instead of belonging, we end up feeling isolated and alone. Without the ability to connect with others through genuine emotional expression, our relationships lose depth and the lack of true connection. It is profoundly painful. So here's the takeaway. Emotions are not the enemy. They are signals, vital messengers that helps us survive, connect, and thrive. Learning to recognize and express them instead of suppressing them is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward a healthier, more connected, and more fulfilling life. Remember, your feelings matter because you matter.